All right, good afternoon, everybody. Attention. First time I ever shushed a room full of ladies. First of all, thank you all for coming here. This is going to be really a great event today. We have really powerful people speaking, so thanks for coming and being a part of it. My name is Ed Kaminsky, if you don't know, and what this is all about is I decided a couple months ago to just put on what we call a health and wealth day every couple Wednesdays. And so I joined this facility about 3 or 4 months ago, and part of the catalyst to that for me was I've been reading a lot of books, Tony Robbins books and all these health books, and talking about how life can truly be extended if you want it to be. And so it just caught my attention. And the other thing that set me on this path was I was invited by my architect that I refer a lot of business to come to his office. And he was having a private dinner. And the dinner was at his office, and the guy leading it was in charge of what he called the anti-retirement club. And I didn't really know what that meant, but it got my attention because I have like very little interest in retiring. Sorry, dear. And I said, well, he started talking about what is that? And he said, if you start reading about health and all the things that you can do to truly extend your life, you can design your life to be 150 years old. Hard to believe, but people are trying to do that right now. And he says, but who wants to be old and sick, right? You don't want to be sick. You don't want to be old and broke, right? So you want to have financial stability, and you don't want to be old and lonely. You want community. And so that's the design of the anti-retirement club. And so this is kind of my mini version of that, right? Building community, networking, trying to do business together, forcing myself to learn more about health, because every time you learn something, you don't always do it. So bringing it back into my head is important. So I figured I'll just set up the forum for that. I get to partake in it. And so that's what this is all about. So again, thank you for coming. At the end of today, if you want to see the facility, there will be people here that will tour you through. And if you stay till the end, we are going to give you a day pass so you can get a real tour and actually, work out at the facility or use it. So save that when we pass that out. So without further ado, we're going to start with the panel first. We're going to move to Suzanne after. So let's start with bringing up one of my favorite human beings, my daughter, Tina Kaminsky Phillips. Come on up, Tina. So, I've never put her on a panel before, and I share this story all the time. I've trained a lot of people in my career. I've been at this 38 years, and there's only been one person so far that's actually done all the things I've taught. And my base of that was Mike Ferry. So she followed the Mike Ferry system to a T. When she first came to work with me when she was 16, I think, I remember yelling down the hall, "Dad!" I'm like, there's definitely a dad-daughter relationship going on there. Then she went off to college. She worked for some really tough people in the commercial real estate world. And she started to learn what that boss-employee relationship was. And she came out at 2008, I think it was?
2009.
When the market was crashing and the commercial real estate world was looking like it was going to fall apart, looking for a job. And I said, you can interview with me. And we were really interviewing each other. Do I want her back? And does she want to work with her dad? And from day one, when she started, it was a really good business relationship. She just loved the coaching and all the things that Mike was teaching, and she put it to work and became one of the first people I met anyways across the country that cracked the $1 million income level as a team agent. So congrats to you, and thank you for being here. Go ahead and take a seat. And then hailing from the Central Coast, Lindsay Harn, come on up. She did something I don't know that anybody's duplicated or will. Maybe you can teach them how. But she worked for an amazing agent in the Central Coast. She was their buyer's agent, and she figured out how to sell 100 houses working with buyers in 1 year. Not her career, 1 year. So I don't know how she did it. I think we're going to ask her some questions today about how that's possible, because I know some of us are trying to figure out how to sell 10 homes a year. She was doing that every month. So kind of nutty. But Lindsay, welcome. Thank you for being here. And last but not least, Miss Vivian Lesney, come on up. I call her the transitioned agent, just kind of like Lindsay, but she was working on some really big agents teams for a while, and she was just a killer listing agent, and at some point decided to flip that and just be the Vivian team and get rid of all bosses and boss yourself around. And she does an amazing job down in Venice, Mar Vista, and we'd love to hear from you today. It's going to be great. Thank you. Okay. Usually we want taller chairs, but they didn't have them here. So, Tina, we'll start with you. When you first joined real estate during the market crash, what mindset shift did you have to make that helped you succeed when so many others were struggling? Remember, that was a time when the market had, if you didn't know, in 2008, the mortgage world blew up. Every single home that was being sold was either a foreclosure or a short sale, and people were in desperate situations. They had no equity, and you come into that crazy market. What allowed you to succeed pretty quickly?
So I was grinding it every single day. I would talk to 50 people a day, and I had nothing else to do, and I had no clients. So it was really the only thing I did. And then I'm 6 months in, and I hadn't sold a home yet, and I started to get really frustrated. And then I don't know if you remember, but you left a note on my desk, and you said, "You're planting seeds." And then after that, everything shifted. I think I sold like 15 homes the next year.
So you're making 50 calls a day or talking to 50 people a day?
Talking to 50 people a day. It was a lot of calls.
Good. Awesome. Lindsay, I'm going to roll to you. You sold 100 homes in 1 year, which is kind of nutty. So it's something most agents can't even imagine. How did you manage your time and the client load at that scale?
Yeah, I mean, I think kind of like Tina, I started in 2008 and 2009, and I think that was the most fortunate thing because you had to get a work ethic, whereas right now if you get in, or 3 years ago you got in, things would just fall in your lap. It was really easy, and so I saw people losing their homes, real estate agents that I looked up to selling their homes at a loss or giving them back to the bank, and so when you go through that, you go, okay, I don't want to end up in that situation. So what can I learn from the past and really take that forward? So, I mean, that was in 2010. I started selling real estate in 2017. So it's kind of very similar, 7 years of grinding. And then all of a sudden things really start kind of falling in your lap. Things get a little bit easier. Instead of showing one buyer 25 homes, you're really efficient. You ask great questions, and now you can get them under contract, deal closed by only showing 3 homes. So I started managing my time almost like a listing agent would, like how efficient can I be with this buyer? Like how can I kind of really understand what this buyer is looking for so I'm not wasting their time or my time? And so it kind of became a joke. Well, don't just go look at a home. If you call Lindsay, you'll be in escrow in the blink of an eye that wasn't even your plan. They're like, I'm a year or two out. So it was, I think, just a lot of hard work, and then really just waking up every morning and like checking the hot sheet, sending out texts, emails. Okay, there's a couple new hot listings, like just really being a matchmaker and connecting people and trying to create urgency.
So, you talked about it lightly, but it's really powerful what you said is you really understand what they're looking for. So how do you convey that to those that aren't getting that? Like they're showing someone 50 houses and like they're still showing homes. What is it that you're listening for or asking to really understand what they want?
I mean, I think it's a good idea to always meet with a client, like a listing appointment, like as a consultation, and really have a list of like maybe 10 or 20 questions of what you want to find out about why they're looking to buy a house, what their timeline is, and really understanding. And then as they're describing what you think their home is, start making suggestions. Well, you said you want to be in Manhattan Beach, but your budget says, and I don't know your guys' market, but your budget says Redondo or Hawthorne. Like, let's, like, and again, I could be wrong, so I'm not offending anybody, but like, how do you sort of go, okay, well, that's great. Here's the last 9 months of sales in Manhattan Beach. Can you afford any of these homes and would you buy them? Oh, no, that's out of my budget. Okay, here are some options. Go drive by. Tell me which ones on this list of 20 that have sold in the last year in your budget you would actually go buy. And then just send me an email with your top 5 of the list of 20 I gave you. And so like really getting them involved in the process and educating them on reality, because I think the biggest frustration with buyers is a lot of times they don't live in reality, right? They've got champagne tastes on like a Coors budget. So trying to kind of like get them.
It's a great technique you brought up. I use it all the time where buyers are describing what they want. They're like perfect house. And I say, let's do an exercise together. We're going to look at 1 year of history of homes that have sold, and you tell me which one of those homes you would have bought. If we find 3, 4, 5, 6 homes, like we're on the right path. Like I wouldn't have bought any of them. If they say they wouldn't have bought any of them, they're not going to buy a house, right? They're shopping they may be shopping in Manhattan Beach when they can only afford Redondo Beach. So it's a really good strategy. Miss Vivian, you worked under some top producing agents before going solo. What were the biggest lessons you took from those experiences?
Oh, there were so many. I started off as a solo agent, and that went well. I would say after 5 or 6 years, I hit a ceiling of about 20 properties a year, and I realized I didn't have the infrastructure in place that I needed. So I decided to partner with one of the top agents, and I went from maybe 20, 30 listing appointments in a year, if that, to about 50 in a year, and that number just kept increasing. So being in the right rooms with the right people, I would say, was very helpful. So I've sat in with, say, it's a lot of the top agents, and I latched onto one in particular to learn the systems and models so that I could start to implement that. Then realized I'm just not team material, so I need to do it on my own. I don't do well with men telling me what to do, and I just kept picking very strong men, and naturally that was a clash. So I'm once again on my own.
We went on 2 or 3 listing appointments together, and it's the most interesting presentations that have ever happened. We were completely opposite in our philosophies, what we were talking about. She would say right in front of the client, I don't agree with him, this is what I think. You're definitely great on your own, but I want to ask.
For the record, every single appointment, which was 3 that we've gone on together, we've gotten them. So that says something.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to go in with the mirror image of yourself in a listing appointment. And I think, and now I know, because as the one in Redondo Green or whatever it was, the divorce situation, I remember them telling us at the table, they said, we're going to go with you guys because you present multiple options. We weren't trying to lead them down a specific path. We were asking the right questions, and naturally you cater more to one person or the other. So you catered more towards one party and I the other, and we got through that divorce situation well.
So I want to ask a question about, you went on so many listing presentations now. You probably developed, we'll call it a secret sauce, like something that is allowing you to win on your listing presentations, because you do get most of them. What do you think is one thing you do that allows you to win so often?
It's definitely not secret sauce. I thought that as well, and that's why I would latch on to, say, the James Suarez's or the Jesse Weinbergs or the Stephanie Younger, going with you, Tammy Pardee. I've been on listing appointments with those people, multiple. And I realized, oh my God, there's no secret sauce. I was waiting for some golden nuggets to fall out of their listing presentation, and there weren't any. It was obviously very put together, clear. You can get that up from ChatGPT or really anywhere. Your brokers can give it to you. It's not about those papers. It's more about connecting with people. So if you are paying attention, you're listening, and you're genuinely interested in what the other person is saying, people want to work with people they like. So I would say I just tried to be as relatable as possible to whoever was across from me. You know, if the people were laid back and kind of, like this, and I made sure to be a little bit more laid back, and you just mirror them. Yeah. So I would say my success really came from paying attention to who was sitting across from me and getting to the truth as quickly as possible. What do they really want?
Lindsay, you were all buyers all the time, and now you're crushing it on listing appointments. Similar question, like, what do you think you're doing that's elevated you? You're number one in your market now, right? You're top 3, I think, in the state now.
Yeah, I mean, I think, well, working with a lot of buyers, the good news is eventually they want to upgrade, downgrade, sell. And so those turned into a lot of listing appointments. And so that was a good way for me to get experience with clients I'd already worked with before, versus when you get the call and you're going up against 3 or 4 other top brokers. It's a little bit different of a mindset. I think it's really critical to set the expectation before you even enter the door of why they should choose you. So maybe you hand deliver something, maybe you FedEx them a fancy box or package, maybe you send out a really nice email confirmation or a text when you're on the way. I'm so excited to meet with you. And I've found it's actually not that hard to stand out. And when you talk to them before you meet with them, what's important to you about the agent you choose? And so right then and there, they're going to give you insight into how they're going to make their decision. And so you can actually tailor your presentation to what was important to them that they told you on the phone. Now it's really nice because once you do have a good track record, I just beat out 3 or 4 agents on a listing, and I said, did you know the agent you told me it's between me and her? She sold 1 home over $1.5 million in the last 365 days, and I've sold 27. I thought you would find this helpful in making a decision. They're like, oh, yep, we're going with you. And, it was a little pop. I said nothing bad about her. I was just like, these are a report from the MLS. I thought it'd be helpful for you while you finalize your decision.
So you're going on listing appointments with clients that you represented, buyers that you represented. So it almost seems in your head, for most of us, it's a natural yes. But have you ever made the mistake of not being prepared enough on those appointments because you assume they're going to list with you? Question 1. The second question is, a lot of agents assume when you sell them a house, you own the client, right? Which is not true. You don't own the client. They're still in 10 different agents' databases. So what are you doing to get those appointments? We'll stick with that question. What are you doing to get the appointments from your past clients? What is your follow-up plan after the close of escrow with a buyer?
Me? Mm-hmm. Okay. I think it's a good idea to have a database. If you don't, keep track of all your clients and then touch base with them, via email, maybe via physical mail, and some sort of, phone call or text check-in every couple months. I have had friends who I've sold 6 or 7 houses to. Literally a month ago, I just look in the MLS and on their Instagram, and I'm like, what in the absolute? And I call a friend. I'm like, I'm moving to Tijuana. I'm closing my doors. This is like the worst day of my life. How dare they? And then I go back through our correspondence. When did I last touch base with them? And it was 100% my fault. And so I think it's such a great learning experience, and it burned really, really badly. But it got me really quickly back in the office and back to talking to my clients and doing a better job. So you can't assume just because you've been their go-to for, in this case, almost 16 years, that you're going to be their next go-to. And Like text her right away. Oh my gosh, where are you moving? They want to move to my neighborhood. Another knife in the chest. I'm like, good luck.
So
But I was
Tina,
super nice and professional.
yeah.
But yeah, I got burned.
Tina, you've dealt with the same thing, right? Losing good friends or clients, neighbors. How do you deal with that mindset, that you can get so frustrated and want to move to Tijuana? How do you get out of that?
I call you and I complain. And then you have to remind yourself that you can, okay, what happened? What could you have done differently? Could you have done anything differently? Sometimes you can't. And I try to give myself like 5 minutes to sulk. And then I'll go find a new client. And sometimes I kind of like look at it as a whole. Sometimes I get a client where maybe they don't want to be with the realtor that they were working with, and I'm like, okay, so it's coming back like full circle. I don't know, it all works out.
I just tattooed the word next on my arm, so when those situations happen to me, and obviously they happen to me as well.
Did you really?
Yeah.
I
was looking at it when I was sitting there. I
want to do that.
So I'm a dweller. I like to dwell. I like to stew. I like to be sad about it and angry and have all these feelings. And I had a very dear friend who tattooed it with me as well and said, every time you want to sit and you want to dwell and you want to have a pity party for whatever reason, just look down at your arm. And there it is. So just move on as quickly as possible.
Awesome.
I
get my first tattoo.
Yeah, well, I want to say something about that. Like people who just sit there and complain and can't get over things and not move on, they just attract that kind of energy towards themselves constantly. And like, I always know who those people are. It's just always negative energy. So you want to just move on.
and tattoo this on your
Yeah. I had like my forehead tattoo.
So Tina, you've built a 7-figure income. You're a mom. You're raising 2 kids. You travel all over the place with your friends, with your family. What disciplines and boundaries do you put in place to allow you to have that balance that I never been able to figure out how to do, and many have challenge with that, especially as a mom?
I try to be really efficient in the morning. That's like the 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock is my like really hard working time, and I don't mess around. I don't chit chat. I don't even go to lunch. I just try to get it all in in a window.
So give us an example of that schedule between 8 to 2.
Typically from 8 to 10:30, I'll prospect. I'll return calls. And then between 10:30 and 2, I do my best to clear my emails, but I'm really bad at my emails because I don't make it a priority. Only my clients. And then
You have 20,000 unread emails.
I have more than that. Because I just skip over the ones I don't need. I just go to the important emails. But I just try to negotiate contracts, update sellers, clients. Now I'm trying to like auto complete certain things, like their listing activity reports go out every Monday. It's just automatic. I'm just trying to make everything automatic. I just found this like service that does all my returns for me for $7.99. Like I try to have other people take care of the things I don't need to deal with.
Awesome. Thanks. Vivian, you integrated flipping into your real estate life. How do you balance between, because that takes some time, and still keeping your business moving? How are you doing both at the same time?
I don't have any balance in my life whatsoever. So that said, my husband, who's back there, really handles the flipping aspect of it because I just don't have the bandwidth to do it. When you're doing, 75 to 80 transactions a year, I'm really, really purposeful, and I don't, like Tina said, there's no lunches, there's no coffees, I don't do anything other than handle my sellers, listings, looking for my next flip, and whatever level of involvement that I do need to be on the flip, I will try, but I usually just hand that over to Thomas.
So you said you do 75 to 80. What are you going to do this year, not transaction-wise?
120.
120, okay? And you're 50-ish usually?
45, 50.
It's a lot of deals, right? I know a lot of our agents are trying to figure out how to do 10, right? So how does that happen? How do you get to that level of doing 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 deals a month? I mean, what do you think is the one thing you do that allows you to do that? I know it's more than one, but if you pick one thing, any of you guys.
You have to talk to people who do that level of business to find out what are they doing to get to that level. And then if you have a coach, your coach can also teach you how to get to that level.
Good.
I need to get past that. I'm like stuck. So I'm trying to figure out how to get over that level.
So what she's saying is environment, right? Your environment is so critical to allow you to get to the next level, because if you're in an environment and you're the top agent in the office doing 10 deals a year, you can kind of get stuck there. Or your goals have to be so much bigger than what you're achieving, because most people live to their means. Like if you need to make 30 grand a month, and that's where you stop. People tend to stop. But changing your environment, meaning getting in those rooms and talking to those people that are doing a lot more business, gets you thinking that, shit, if they can do it, I can do it, right? You start paying attention. How about you two?
I would just say delegate things that don't pay you your hourly rate. So if I know what I'm really good at, like I don't go to the dry cleaners, I don't water my plants, I don't clean my house, I don't cook. Like I sort of set up my life so I can do what I want when I want to, and then the things that somebody else can do for less than what I want to be making on an hourly basis, I just delegate as much as possible. And then when somebody comes and says, hey, I think I would be a good fit for your company, I'm never hiring, but if somebody can I don't go to the bank, I have a bookkeeper. Like I just literally delegate everything that is not in like my zone of genius or something that I'm really good at.
So balance, no balance, where are you?
I'm now in between. I'm now a little more balanced. Like I'm taking time out to go to lunch and play tennis and pickleball, and I feel like for the first time in my life, I feel like I've earned the right to be able to mix in some fun and some personal time, like you're doing with your kids.
So when you moved to a listing agent, really is what you've become, how are you balancing your time now with, or when you first started? Because you must have had still that understanding of working with buyers, and you can get a lot of deals in escrow, but how'd you transition it, and where's your balance now between sellers and buyers?
Now I'm probably 70% sellers, 30% buyers. So I've sort of delegated like all internet leads, all sign calls, like all people that aren't personally referred to me or past clients. I pretty much delegate to somebody on my team. But at those first couple years, again, when I went out on my own, I was on a team. I was doing everything. I was working probably 70, 80 hours a week without a lot of help. And then I sort of worked in support through that process. And so now I pretty much focus on sellers. I have a showing agent. So if somebody calls today and wants to go look at a house, they're like, okay, Dee Dee's going to meet us. They kind of know. And I go, yep, call me after the showing. I'll negotiate the deal. I'll still stay involved, but I don't physically need to be at every showing anymore. And same with broker opens and open houses. I've sort of delegated myself out of that. So my business is pretty much negotiating and going on listing appointments, and occasionally I'll meet with a new buyer, but that's about it. The reason I was able to do that is I built a brand and I made it really easy. So I'm not making calls anymore. My calls come in and I set on a listing appointment. So like last week I went on 7 listing appointments. Today I'm out. I'm going to hang out with Tina tonight. I booked a listing appointment for Saturday. I don't always do appointments on Saturdays, but this was like a fun choice to be here. And then, okay, I'll put in a little work on the weekends. But it's been a process.
You are in the middle of California, like nowhere California, right?
Pretty much.
It's slow there. Is that what it is?
Yeah.
So what's your average price? Like 100,000 or?
1.2.
1.2 million.
Yeah.
And you're doing 120 deals.
Yeah.
So what's that in volume?
160 to 180,
Give a
depending
round
on
of
the year.
applause. That's great. Amazing. When you went to decide to go solo after being on a team, I think a lot of agents struggle with that. So what allowed you to kind of get your feet out of there and just go on your own?
I'm just not team material. That's the bottom line. I wanted to be a part of, very much so. I mean, I just realized I'm not cut out for it. I'm a lone wolf. I do better on my own. Yeah. So
How about-
I went, I learned.
Okay.
There were no regrets there in the
Yeah.
sense of it catapulted my career. I couldn't get past about 20 deals a year. And then by starting to work with others, I went from 20 to about 50, 60. And then every time I made another move, I just saw that I was catapulted into another tier. So I really went across 100 homes. I don't work with any buyers whatsoever. It's like zero.
What do you do with them?
The thought was to hand them over to buyer's agents. I just haven't been able to put a team together that's, able to handle that.
Is this something you want to do?
It is, yes.
Good. Tina, you're kind of the opposite. You stuck with the team. Obviously, we have a relationship, but what works for you being on a team and allowing you to continue to have the success that you're doing?
I think the support staff is helpful because I didn't have to start at the bottom and then figure out how to get the support staff. I kind of just landed right into it. And it allows me to be efficient at what I'm good at. I'm not good at marketing. I'm not good at graphics. I'm not good at inputting things into the MLS. And so we have everybody, I'm really bad at paperwork. So everyone else handles that. They're very good at it. And then it allows me to just focus on my clients.
So, Lindsay, back to you. You've had really great success in volume with buyers, now with sellers. Having experienced both that, how do you personally define success today for you?
Being able to do what you want. So if Tina says, hey, we're going on this $25,000 vacation, we have to fly first class, I can say yes and not feel guilty. So it's really about choosing, being able to give back to your family, give back to your community, and really get to choose fun and joy. Because I'll be honest, for 8 to 10 years, it was work, and my personal life suffered. And so to me, I feel like I'm there where I'm able to enjoy my life too. And to me, that's success.
So for the room here, who's been in the business 5 years or less? Raise your hand. And who's been in 5 to 10 years? And 10 years or more? Okay, so you gotta look at the audience. It's a mixed group. If there's one word of advice you'd give somebody, you can choose the category, brand new in the business or a veteran in the business. What's one thing you would advise somebody?
To really align yourself with someone that you admire so that you can emulate what they do. That was, I would say, a huge part of my success. And to this day, I strive to do that. And that's why I aligned myself with the three amigos, as I call them, which is Aaron, Dave, and Ed. So I would say align yourself with the people that you like what you see.
Amigo number 2.
Well, it's just easier than being Clapper, Kaminsky, Cass. I'm the three amigos. It's just easier to say.
They are
So-
kind of amigos.
They are, yeah, right. And then if you look at them, they all look the same. They're all
Yeah.
tall and, just need the sombrero.
Get them hats.
You should. But I would say just go to where you're drawn and where you're comfortable. So that's a huge one for me.
Awesome. Tina.
I would say set goals and find things to be excited about so that you have something to work toward. And
Tell us about your goal setting process.
every month I set a goal of what I want to accomplish that month. So how many people do I want to talk to? How many days will I work? How many listing appointments do I want to go on? How many pendings do I want that month? But then every year, for so many years, I don't even know how long, and I'm sure I've done this with a lot of you, but we do the vision board goal. Like first I write out everything I want to accomplish, then I write a prophecy letter.
What's a
That-
prophecy
A
letter?
prophecy letter is where you write a letter to yourself for the end of that future year of all of your accomplishments. And it's really crazy how things come true when you go back and read them at the end of the year and you don't remember really what you wrote sometimes. And then vision boards, just always thinking bigger and finding something that excites you. You have to find something that makes you happy.
Good. Linz.
We're all going to have bad days or bad moments. So, like, have a plan when you run into a challenge of how you're going to turn everything back around. I think a lot of people in this business can get stuck in a very like dark place or an emotional low, or then you just decide to screw off for 2 weeks because things aren't going in your favor. And so, like Tina said earlier, like give yourself 5 minutes, an hour, cry, go work out, and then have like a plan. Like I'm going to go preview 15 properties and get jazzed and start sending videos to clients who I know are looking. Like have a plan, because we're all going to have bad days or bad moments, and then just have a plan to figure out to get back on track.
I have one more thing I want to add to that. You will all talk to agents who will complain about where the market is and my listings aren't selling and this is wrong and this is wrong and my business sucks and things are really slow, and they'll just say that all the time. Most agents do, but I will not do that. I try to look at, okay, where are we today and what changes need to be made so that is not where you're stuck. So it can be done. You just have to change the way you think.
Thank you. I want to turn to you guys. We got a few minutes left with them. For any questions that you may have, this is a great opportunity to do that. So think fast. Go ahead.
So you had mentioned that you had grinded for 7 years. I'm in year 2 of real estate, and I'm like, I can't imagine doing like how did you keep yourself? I keep telling myself I'm gonna give it 5 years and like see how I do. And like what kept you motivated?
I think I was lucky because like I met Tina and we were kind of in the same phase, and so it's like having people to talk to keep you motivated. And I'm like, if she can do it, I can do it. And sort of creating competitions where like we race to $1 million. Who's gonna hit $1 million, and then how are we celebrating each other? And so it can feel so like lonely and isolating, especially where I am. I'm in a very small town. And so I think you just need to like put yourself out there and kind of make connections with people who believe in you and who will help. Say, you're having a problem with the seller, here's my template email, here's how I negotiate this deal. Like be sharing ideas in your market but outside of your market, because then you feel like you're not alone and you have people that you're like aspiring to be.
And do you have a VA?
I don't.
Oh.
Yeah. I have staff,
You have
but
yeah,
for some reason I've just.
Explain your staff. What do you have?
So I have a full-time TC who only works for me, a listing coordinator, I kind of call it like a buyer's coordinator, office manager, a runner, and then like kind of a on-call handyman, and then 2 buyer's agents and a showing agent.
Thanks, Vivian. Maria.
One question, how long did it take you to start, getting help, like an assistant, like when was the shift?
Mine was, I think, 10 years in. When did we hire Angie? Help me. Oh,
Oh, wow.
so I guess 5 years in.
5 years in.
I think it depends on how much business you have, like how much you're making, and then how much time you're wasting or spending on like setting up showings or like doing admin. And so, Mike Fair used to say once you're at like 30 or 40 deals, you absolutely need an assistant. Maybe now with all the demands of the clients, it may be 20 deals or something. And maybe you start part-time and try to get somebody into a full-time position. But I think there's a lot of things involved in our jobs that can be delegated to somebody at a lower paying.
It's a good question, Maria. And I think back to when I was starting out and I was brand new, and I hired somebody who was part-time. I shared that person with someone else in the office because there was things I was doing I hated doing, right? Paperwork. I hated paperwork. Didn't want to do it. Didn't want to deal with it. Even if it cost me more money to pay somebody, I'd rather do that. But if you're trying to give yourself more time in the business, and you're in an environment where you can share somebody, it's a good way to start. Or you start with a VA, right? Because those are $5 an hour, right? You can start with a VA as a start to do all the busy work. Maybe it's looking up phone numbers for you and, planning, helping you plan your day or what you're going to do. So great question. Blue shirt, yes, you.
So for the panel, do you guys have any business standards? Say you won't have your phone after a certain time.
I'm going to repeat the question for the microphone. Yeah.
Or you don't work specific days, or you don't take a listing if the commission is like your standard is 2.5 or 3 or whatever, you won't take that listing.
So do you have any standards you absolutely live by, whether it's sellers, commissions, disciplines that you have, any absolute standards that you just won't break?
I don't take a lot of phone calls unless it's a client. So I would say the phone for me is sort of like you'll really never get me on the phone because a lot of people just suck up your time and energy.
Yeah.
So I'm really good at not going there. Other than that, I would say I take it by a case basis. So if there is a client that is extra needy and it gets into that therapeutic mode, honestly, I just shut it down immediately and I'm like, oh, I am so not qualified for this. And I let them know that my role is not to fix that situation. And I usually wait an hour. I learned this from a lender a long time ago. I used to be it's a little reactive. I used to be very reactive. If the phone rang, I jumped. I was like a circus monkey. And I realized that I had very little control over my day-to-day. And as soon as I controlled it and was just like, no, people really figure out their own issues within an hour. If you just give them that time, you're actually giving them a gift. Just like, oh, there's an emergency. I go, okay, right, emergency. And within an hour, it's fixed. So I try not to involve myself.
I never
in
thought of that till you said it, but I get texts all the time I can't respond to with problems, agents on the team. And then sure enough, within
hour.
30 minutes, I get a never mind.
Yeah. It's great. It's just like you own your time again.
How about you? Any standards that you want to share that you live by?
I mean, I won't prospect anything under like 800,000. But I'll take anything if it's like a past client. I won't miss any baseball games. And that's pretty much it. And I pre-qualify all my clients. And if I don't want to work with them or if I don't like them, I don't even always tell them I'm not qualified. I just kind of blow them off.
Good. I saw a hand here. Go ahead.
I guess this question applies to all three of you. What do you enjoy most about what you do in real estate?
That's what you see for me.
Well, we all know that.
I love putting deals together that other people can't seem to figure out how to do, and it's like, but it's just the only way that my brain works. Is I'm a deal maker, I'm a hunter, I'm gonna find it and I'm gonna make it happen. However, it needs to happen.
Complex situation.
Just it doesn't even have to be that complex. I don't like. I got a referral from another agent who's like, I can't find this girl house, and then it's like, okay, I got it. And found her a house in 1 week. I don't know. I love putting things together and being a resource for people.
Awesome. Let's go here.
I was wondering for all of you, when you call your past clients to touch base, you were saying, what do you say? And this sounds like a really rudimentary question, but I'm always worried that they're busy working and I'm bothering them.
I'm going to start with my answer
Okay.
first. Just because I use this all the time. Because I don't have enough time to call my past clients, and I have too many past clients. So I always feel guilty for not calling them. But the one thing when I don't know what to say is I say, I just drove past your house and I was thinking about you. And then it doesn't even matter what you say after that. It just gives me an excuse why I called. Because I need some excuse. Like, I don't want to bug them. I don't want to bother them on their work day. And I don't want to ask for business, right? I just want to check in with them so they don't forget about me. So that's my favorite. I just drove past your house. I was thinking about you. Or I was thinking about you because I saw the baseball game and I remember your son was playing baseball or something like that. But you guys take it.
So Kim, this is also a really good thing for you because you should surround yourself around more like-minded, like really strong people like you. And like we would have conversations like, okay, this month let's talk about this. This month let's say this.
Insurance. A lot of our clients have questions about insurance.
Yeah.
They're getting dropped. Do you need a referral? I mean, kind of whatever the hot
Yeah.
topic is.
So we would so in our mastermind groups, we would just spin off ideas and topics and just share it with each other, and then we'd all use it for that month.
I'm not big on phone calls, like I said, so I plan events and I do a lot of event-centric business where, again, no phone calls. I just say, hey, miss you, stop by. We're doing whatever. Today it happens to be Top Golf from 4 to 7 here in El Segundo. A lot of us will be there. So we set up events where we could just network with clients. So that's been...
Ladies, please stand up and give them a round of applause. They will be after, if you guys had some questions you couldn't get answered, after we do Suzanne. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, have a seat. So you guys are in for a treat with Suzanne. With over 12,000 client transformations, 1,000 active clients across the country, Suzanne is the leading voice in holistic health and body transformation. She's a registered holistic nutritionist and a recipient of WXN Top 100 Female Entrepreneur Award. And she brings over a decade of experience empowering women, professionals, and public figures to reclaim their health from the inside out. Come on up.
Thank you. Thanks, Ed. Thank you, everyone.
So we made this session all about women, and she assured me that this is human health, not just women's
Yes.
health, but obviously she knows a lot about that as well. So you have the floor.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Thanks for being here. Thank you for having me. Okay, so I know I'm on a tight, so I'm going to go really fast, but I'll be around for questions after. So a little bit about me. I've been doing this for over 15 years. Prior to COVID, I had 3 female transformation studios in Toronto, Canada. That's where I'm from. And 2019, I transitioned online, pivoted, and lucky I did because 2020, as you know, so I had to shut down my locations and then completely go in a different direction. But I was kind of leaning, I was 10 years teaching in person, and it was more fitness, and then secondary was nutrition. And then as my clients' needs, like I'm 47 now, my clients' needs started to change, and so did mine. So I went into the holistic nutritionist aspect. I have 2 kids. My husband is here somewhere. I saw him. He was here. Okay. I've competed I've done everything in between, from fitness competitions to I help people lose, the most we've had is 175 pounds so far, one woman. So at the end of the presentation, what I'm going to arm all of you with, men and women alike, are the 10 things that all my top paying clients get, regardless of whether they're 17 or 77. I'm going to give you 10 things that you can implement tomorrow, literally. And they will, if you're consistent with them, they will change your life. So I tend to service 2 groups of women, 35 to 45, my perimenopausal, and 35 and under as well, but I kind of put them into 2 categories of where their hormonal changes are, because that's what I specialize in, is female hormone changes. Just as a show of hands, how many of you are in that 35 to 45? Good. I knew it'd be half. And then 45 to like 65, 70. Good. Okay, it's almost 50-50. So I'm going to start with the younger kind of clientele that I deal with, 35 to 45. So in and around that age, there's certain hormones that are transitioning and they're fluctuating. Our hormones are constantly fluctuating, men and women alike. And so as they're going up and down, you're experiencing all these changes. And the one thing that I have over 12,000 transformations. what do they all have in common? Oops. Is they all followed the same nutrition. I healed them from the inside, and then the outside started to heal. They started to lose weight. They got rid of their diabetes. They reversed their blood. They lowered their cholesterol, lowered their blood pressure, or just healing IBS, healing depression, managing just your everyday life. So, and that's what I'm here to help uncover, is what's the mystery. So 35 to 45, what's happening? Estrogen is going up and up and up. And this is typically when women are also having babies. So estrogen is still, it's going up, it's up. And so you can see this, it's a great diagram. So like around 35, like you've got lots of estrogen. Estrogen regulates our metabolism. It distributes fat where it needs to go when in your younger years. Then it throws it where it wants to after. Estrogen is nature's Prozac, so it's like a natural antidepressant. So when we have good balanced levels, not too much, not too little of estrogen, we feel good. Skin is nice and soft. It's everything is just kind of working, and it feels good. And digestion is amazing. So, but what can happen is having too much estrogen. And so when you typically get clients in around 35 to 45, and they've either just had kids or they've just got way too much estrogen, what is happening is, and you'll see this in symptoms like, your body composition has changed, your digestion has changed. That tells me, if you're in that age group, it tells me your estrogen is going up and up and up, and you're not doing a great job of flushing out toxic estrogen. And we get toxic estrogen even from outside sources, xenoesters, so your detergents, your soaps that you use, chemicals in the air, and then whatever you're eating, whatever you're drinking. So if you're not doing an efficient job of flushing out that excess estrogen, what it starts to create havoc and cause damage, and it can cause holes in our belly. And those holes, what they're going to do is leak out toxins, undigested food, toxic hormone into your bloodstream, cause inflammation, and then all of a sudden you're like, I'm starving myself and I can't lose weight. I'm doing everything I used to do, and it's not working. Well, that's because we have to heal the gut. You take care of your gut, you'll live till 150, and you'll be doing real estate forever and ever. Right? That's why we're here. I got to make you agents till you're 99. So estrogen dominance, what can happen? So estrogen, if you don't flush it out, this is for men and women alike. If you don't flush out your excess estrogen, what happens is it starts to get stored as fat because your body's confused, and it's like, oh, extra estrogen. Well, since you're not doing a great job of eating, I'm just going to store it as fat. Or I'm just going to store it in different places as stress, as anxiety, as depression, as indigestion, as IBS, as all these things. And so what causes it? As I said, stress, poor diet, environmental toxins, lack of exercise, and hormonal imbalances. So we're going to move on now before I get to some other things. So this is now, we're going to talk about the other group, my 45 to 65 and up. Estrogen is now going down. Remember that diagram of the estrogen? So now like your estrogen is going down, 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 down. Unfortunately, as we age, so when we do have estrogen, we get this nice little barrier in our stomach. It's called mucin. Estrogen creates mucus, and it helps us digest food, and it helps us keep the gut intact. So if you don't do an efficient job of your diet in your 30s to 40s, and you just kind of let it slide, and you're like, it's just 5-10s. Oh, it's just 10 pounds now. Oh, it's just 15, and a little bit of anxiety and a little bit of depression. Well, what happens when you're 45 plus? It's going to just compound like interest. So when you're in your 40s to 50s, estrogen, as it's going down, you're losing that mucin, the mucus that's lining your gut. So now when you eat things like dairy, gluten, sugar, alcohol, you're like, but I used to be fine with it, and now I'm, for 3 days I can't digest and I can't get rid of this dairy, and I'm breaking out, or I'm, it's so difficult for me to lose weight, and I go on, I'll have just a few drinks and I can't get up in the morning. That's because your body is no longer efficient at digesting things like dairy, sugar, gluten, alcohol, unfortunately.
Does
So-
that apply for men also? Imagine-
Yes, it does. Yep, absolutely. So okay, I want to go to this. What is leaky gut? This is a big one that I see. Probably 99% of the people that come to me have leaky gut but have no idea they do. And that is when you aren't doing an efficient job with your diet, you're drinking too many times a week. It could even be 2 to 3 drinks a week, unfortunately, because when you have that problem, even 1 drink a week is going to make it just keep making it worse. And what you're doing is you're creating holes in your gut, and those holes are leaking out toxins and toxic hormone, and it's causing the inflammation and it's causing your body to go into chaos. Another reason that I see a lot of women come into my practice is candidiasis, which is usually caused by excess dairy, and symptoms are brain fog, depression, difficulty concentrating. A lot of women are walking around with candidiasis and have no idea. Okay, and that's something you need to get tested at your doctor, but usually if it's symptomatic, if I see all these symptoms, I usually know you probably have candidiasis. And if you're somebody who eats too much dairy, that's also, and sugar, if you have a sugar addiction, like you can't just get rid of it, it's usually candidiasis. And unless you get rid of it, you're always going to have this issue. Okay, we're going to move on now to the wishes I have for you. So this is when you get out your cameras and you take pictures of every single slide, okay? Here's the gold. Here's what I've been teaching for 15 years. Number 1 is a pre-breakfast. So when we wake up, our bodies wake up, we are very acidic. Our body has gone into a process of healing, digesting, and you wake up, your body is acidic. So we have to bring that body now into balance. We can't just chug black coffee. We need a barrier. And this is also going to help heal your gut. So what do I have all my members do? Everybody does a pre-breakfast. And there's 3 things that I encourage, 3 different forms of a pre-breakfast, and you can alternate them. Lemon water, warm water with lemon. It can be room temperature. I strongly advise don't do cold in the morning, first thing. And you would do it at least 30 to 40 minutes before your breakfast, about 15 to 20 minutes before coffee. This is my product. It's called Revite Elixir. It's a greens blend. It's a holistic greens blend. We have a few here, but this one just got out. But any kind of wheatgrass even, Whole Foods has a greens blend. I strongly recommend stay away from all that heavily marketed stuff. AG1 is garbage. It is disgusting. It is garbage. It's $300 a month of garbage. Read the back. It is full of gut disruptors. Look for one word, natural flavors. That's the company's IP. That's their secret sauce. So they're allowed to put natural flavors on their label, and that will have up to 100 ingredients in there, all toxic. So anytime you see natural flavors, even lots of kids' stuff, do not get away from it. That's why all my products that I sell that took years and years of development, it has a shelf life. Natural flavors, things like high fructose corn syrup and natural flavors, also are there to extend the shelf life, because at the end of the day, the company wants to make a lot of money and put out as much as they can, manufacture as much as they can, and make money, right? That's their bottom line. So any of that heavily marketed, you want to buy just pure greens. So my greens is broccoli, chlorella. It tastes like a lawnmower, and that's what it should taste like. It should not taste, it should not taste good. I'm sorry. Add flavor to it. We add to it apple cider vinegar and lemon in the greens blend. And have you had it yet, Raquel? No. I have one for you today. Apple cider vinegar is one of my favorites as well. An incredible gut healer. And I do all 3 every morning. Okay? Some of my clients like to cycle it. They do 1 at a time, and they do like a 3-day. But you want to take advantage. Each one has different benefits. So you want to take advantage of all the different benefits that
How much of each, like water, and I saw in this line,
Which-
water and apple cider.
tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and water. Yeah, 1 cup is good.
And for the lemon water, is it half of a lemon, the whole lemon?
So what I do, I'll squeeze like 6 lemons at a time, and I'll use 2 tablespoons.
Oh,
Okay, like I'll make a jar. Yeah.
Can you warm it up every morning?
I have my water just room temperature, but warm. So if you're somebody that's experiencing like indigestion, you have hard bowels, flatulence, you want to warm your water. It's gonna help digestion. I do all 3 in 1 glass. So I do a spoon of this, a squeeze.
That's a lot.
Yeah, no. 1 glass of water, and I put my lemon, and I put my Revita elixir, and I put my apple cider vinegar. Yes.
I add chlorophyll with things.
Yeah, chlorella.
Water.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's great.
And then I do mushroom, coffee, and white apple.
We'll talk about it.
Okay. Wait, I don't wait 30 minutes like I.
You should.
Is that okay?
You should wait 30 minutes. We're going to talk coffee in a second, okay? But you should wait at least 20, okay, before your coffee, 15 to 20 minutes. After this, you want this to work on an empty stomach. That's the whole point, is it's got to do its work while there's nothing else in your body trying to fight for that attention, okay? So the longer you wait, the better, but
Is it safe for pregnant?
I would check with your doctor because, like, I don't know. I would personally. It's pure greens.
Yeah.
It is like you took greens, dehydrate them, and put it in a blender.
The apple cider vinegar is really acidic.
That's why I would check. I'm not sure. I'm not on the up and up anymore as I used to be with
Yeah,
with pregnancy
I know.
and kids. I am, but pregnancy not as much. Okay, my wish number 2. We're gonna get to coffee, but it's near the end, and we have a coffee for you to try. But I don't know where Stefano went.
Sitting here.
He's sitting there. Okay, it's okay. We'll bring him in after. So, minimum of 16 ounces of vegetables a day. When I get on a call with somebody and I consult with them, the first thing I ask them is, "What are you measuring?" And they'll always say, "Oh, I measure my protein. Like I know how much protein I eat." Do you measure anything else? No. Nobody ever measures their vegetables. Our clients are required to measure the vegetables to make sure they're eating enough. 16 ounces, so you know a plastic box that's the spinach? That's 16 ounces. Okay, Raquel's nodding in a...
Say, like, I'll just add on this. I worked with Susan earlier this year, and it was amazing for my health. And I've always eaten tons of veggies. I love veggies. And I'm like,
Yeah,
"Oh,
of course I eat."
veggies. Like, I started measuring. I could not believe how much more I kept adding. I had the little scale, and I just kept adding and adding. And I thought I ate a lot of veggies, and it does change everything.
It changes everything, and especially with toxic hormone, okay? Men and women alike. If you want toxic hormone to leave your body, this is the minimum required for you to excrete it. So what it does is it's going to bind to, the fiber will bind to your bowels and the hormone, and it'll excrete it through your large intestine. That's the only way to get it out. So at the beginning I was saying, if you're not doing a very efficient job with your diet and you let it just keep going into your 40s and 50s and 60s, the number one reason is because men and women alike do not get enough vegetables, and they're not excreting the toxins that we are just from our everyday food. I don't care how clean you eat. If you're not doing this, it will catch up with you. Yes?
What about unsweetened vegetable juices?
It's not the same. It's not. You want the fiber, and you need to chew it. So those juices, like cold pressed juices, has no fiber. So those are great on an empty stomach, okay? Like celery juice is great on an empty stomach, but it will not provide the same benefits as raw, and you have to have a variety, and mostly green. You don't want the dark shade, okay? So you don't want eggplant, corn, or carrot. It's got to be green, and you want a selection of like cruciferous and leafy and all those things, and you want to cook it in different ways. Don't be married to salads. At dinner, you want to have like a baked and a raw, or a steamed and a raw. but you need to have variety. So I park it in the supermarket and I just grab what's around. Whatever's green, I grab it and I'll figure it out at home. Okay?
Oh, kind of on this mindset of raw or cooked vegetables, like whole, not cold pressed juice. Are you kind of against doing juice cleanses, or I don't do them like anymore, but I used to do like Prolon and things like that in the past.
Prolon, no, like
Okay.
ever,
They got me just wondering,
right?
just,
But
no. I
juice
just
cleanses,
on a,
yeah.
just.
Okay, here's the thing. So we do, in my program, we don't do, we do a juice cleanse after 8 weeks of preparation. So all these people, you're buying, you're just like, oh, I feel like shit, I'm going to do a juice cleanse. Nah, it's not. You're just going to be right back at square one. Of course, right? But we prepare the body. So I want to maximize that juicing effect, because what do I want juicing for? 2 reasons. I want juicing to give my digestive system a break from digestion. So I want it to go into kind of a fasting state. And I want it to eat at my fat. But if there's garbage in your body, right, from like you had burgers and fries and you had alcohol, and then you're like, I'm going to do a juice, that's starvation. That's it, right? We're not doing anything. But when you prepare for it, you prepare your body to engage in that process of using fat as energy, and you want to give your body a complete break from that whole process. So juicing's great when done right. What time is it? So I know where I'm at.
104.
Okay. Okay, high fructose corn syrup. Let's talk about that for a second. So unfortunately, like everything in the supermarket has high fructose corn syrup. A lot of kids' stuff does as well. Natural flavors usually contain some high fructose corn syrup. So if you eat 500 calories of like a frozen pizza, anything with high fructose corn syrup, which is 90% of the packaged items in the supermarket, even like if, it's a frozen meal, it's got high fructose corn syrup in it, or some derivative of it. High fructose corn syrup is only, if you eat something that's 500 calories, it's going to fill up your tummy 10%. So what are you going to do with the 90% that's hungry? Keep eating, right? That's why, all this talk about how people and kids, unfortunately, are becoming obese is because high fructose corn syrup, it will cancel what's in your brain saying you're full, and it'll just get you to continue eating. So that's why snacks, unfortunately, like I'm not the snack enemy of snacks. I'm not. But I want it to fill me up. I don't want to leave hungry from McDonald's. Like I want to leave full. So I'm like, what's the point? Even when I take, I have 2 kids, I'm like, what's the point in feeding them drive-through? I'm going to have to cook at home anyways because they're going to be hungry. It's not going to fill up their tummy. If you eat anything fried, so deep fried wings, deep fried fish, it's going to fill up your tummy 25%. So you're still left with 75% that's hungry. If you eat pure protein, pretty good. Fills up your tummy 65%. There are receptors that line your gut, and it tells your brain it's full, and it tells you to stop eating. It doesn't go off here. No receptors are going off. So you feed that Oreo box to your kids, nothing's happening. They're just going to eat. Oil as well. Meat, okay, it's starting to go off. But guess what happens with only 500 calories of vegetables? All the receptors go off in your stomach telling you you're full. So there's a joke in my program. I'm like, it's like eat a head of broccoli and you will be full. And it's because a head of broccoli is 4 to 500 calories, actually even less. But 500 calories of vegetables will fill you up to the point where you can't eat no more.
Vegetables are really bloated. I feel like
So you gotta work it up to 16 ounces, yes, and then you gotta figure out like what works with me, what doesn't. Especially now, like you feel it
Well, before
too.
Yeah.
You gotta, you gotta figure it out what works. Like, a lot of women do really well with leafy and a bit of cruciferous, but cruciferous are the important ones, especially when it comes to cancers. So you want to work up your tolerance. What is cruciferous? The broccolis, the Brussels sprouts, the crunchy stuff. It releases a chemical called DIM. That's the cancer fighter. So you want to make sure that you're having a variety and work your tolerance. Don't be that person that's like, oh, it makes me gassy, I'm not going to eat it. No. Okay? You eat it. You get gassy, and it'll just slowly your body. It's also your body giving you signs that it's trying to get rid of something, right? So that's why the gas is good. Be smelly. Understanding protein and macros. So does anybody know here what macros are or has an idea? Yes, some nodding heads. So what I see a lot is a lot of men and women do not know what macros are. And macros was once something that was very reserved. I'm sure you're like for the bodybuilding world. You know, bodybuilders knew their macros. But when I learned macros when I was competing, which was like end of 20s, very, very early 30s, so over 17 years ago, and I was like, holy shit, women need to know this. Women need to know, and men, how much protein, carbs, fat do I require to maintain my muscle, to lose fat, to gain more muscle, to get leaner. I've taught my kids know macros. They're 11 and 13, and they've known macros for years because I need them to understand how to fuel their body. Why do we need protein? How much do I need? Why aren't I full? Is always going to macros, and how much are you getting of each macro for your specific body? So it's a very personalized approach, but very, very important. Even if this is going over your head today, just keep it in mind and be like, one of these days I gotta get and learn my macros. Okay? Okay. Another one that kind of goes hand in hand with macros is building muscle. This is now mandatory. I would say even more mandatory for anybody above 40. Because as we age, so did you know that up until the age of 25, I wish I knew this, but I didn't. Up until the age of 25, your body stops putting on muscle. So if your parents didn't have you in sports, you weren't a sport kid, then you go to university and you don't really, play sports, that's it. 25, you're done. Whatever muscle you put on that's with you. So it can grow and it can shrink, and it can grow and it can shrink. So what do you think I'm doing to my kids? I'm like, go work out. I don't care if you're 7, go work out. You only have till 25 to work out. To gain that muscle, those muscle cells. So, and that doesn't mean you can't put on muscle after, but it's more difficult. And so as we age, what happens at 35 starts to go down if you're not taking care of it, right? So if you're not engaging in some type of strength training, and I'm sorry, not Pilates. Pilates, reformer is not strength training because it's not enough resistance. You need something that's going to push back at you. You need to sit and push weight. Okay? That's strength training. Engage in some kind of, even if there's so many at-home workouts, all of my transformations start at home. None of them go into the gym, maybe until they're a year or 2 in. And that's, that's if they care to. Most of these things can be done at home, but engage in some kind of strength training. Start out with 1 to 2 days a week. That's it. And for the younger girls, keep what you have. For my older ladies, make sure you're not losing. Okay. Go ahead. Hi.
You say if like the mid-ladies, if they do lose the muscle, you think they can get back?
Absolutely. Yep. We're going to talk about that. If we have, we'll talk. I will get there. More sleep. Muscle, fat leaves with sleep. Muscle grows with sleep. This is my sleep stack. Okay, GABA, magnesium, L-theanine, and chamomile tea. Puts me right out. I could use half of those now, and it still puts me right out. You want also a good sleep routine. right? Especially, I know, like, everybody here is a self-employed entrepreneur. We're all very high level and all very go, go, go. And you could be on your phone scrolling till like 2 a.m., right? Doing things and messaging and all these things. But your sleep is so important in order for your body to engage in active deep sleep and recover for the next day so that you feel good.
Go back to the last slide.
Sure. This one?
Yeah,
Okay.
I was thinking of it that fast, but.
No, take your time. So more sleep, go ahead.
Are there brands that you recommend for those?
I love Pure Essentials. I sell in Toronto, but Pure Essentials on Amazon, I love. Their stuff is potent. It is real. It's really strong. And there's a line, and everything you get, okay, like creatine. I don't even know if I'm going to talk about creatine, but that's an important one. Make sure it is, it's pharmaceutical grade. Don't buy the garbage that is not pharmaceutical grade. Don't buy stuff that's just on TikTok, okay? Like these array pills and all that stuff. Like creatine, Designs for Health. It's a physician brand. Your doctor or actually no, here you can order it on Amazon. It's called Designs for Health. It's excellent creatine. Creatine, you get what you pay for. If you pay for a high quality, you won't get the bloating and you're going to get the effects of the creatine. It takes long for creatine to kick in, like 2 to 3 months of consistent use. So creatine is a supplement and it aids in so many things like digestion, overall weight loss, keeping muscle, building muscle, burning fat. It's a very, very, I don't do any kind of supplementation in my programs that isn't organic and holistic, right? And so that one has been heavily, heavily studied.
Can you repeat the name of the supplement?
Designs for Health. It's that's garbage. Okay. Look up Designs for Health. It's black. It's like a black label.
One question about the macros before you get too far.
Yeah.
It seems like years ago it used to be protein, fat, carbs, fiber, and now a lot of the calculators seem to drop fiber. Is there a reason for that? Or?
Which they shouldn't, because like as I meant, like fiber is my top priority. So rather than have you calculate fiber, which I'm going to tell you, you need to be on 40 to 50 grams of fiber per day. I'm going to tell you, eat 16 ounces a day. But you're right.
The 60 ounces of the vegetables, that's where it's coming from.
Exactly. It's going to give you that 40 to 50. Yes.
What do you think of colostrum?
Do you really want to know? I just, you know what, the gimmicky stuff that's like really new, and I'm like, has it been researched enough? And unless I take something for a long time, which takes me a long time to see the results, I can't speak on it. So I can't say it's good and I can't say it's bad.
What was the question?
Colostrum. Now, if it's my colostrum, like from my body, maybe I think that has a lot of benefits for sure. Okay,
your setup
supercharge your morning with Neutral Elixir. So, who are my coffee drinkers? Even tea. Awesome.
You have to bring it in there.
So, something that me and my husband created over 15 years ago, when all this research, when I was in school for holistic nutrition, all this research started coming out about
Try.
spices like cinnamon, cayenne, maca root, ginger, turmeric.
Yeah, good. You can come in anytime to start your.
Did I miss one? Beetroot powder.
Yeah.
And how effective they were. But, this is something that our ancestors used in stews, in curries, in sauces, in their teas. But we have very much, we're so far away from that kind of lifestyle and that kind of routine. And I thought, how can I get my ladies to incorporate this daily? They're not going to go and buy 10 spices. So my husband, actually, he created the spice mix, and after like much trial and error, we would give ladies the recipe, they would make it. Now some would taste amazing, some would not taste so good. So then we finally started getting it manufactured when the time was right, of course. So Nutrilixir is a really, really popular product in my business. It's just spices. And What it's going to do is it's going to optimize your coffee. So you drink it because coffee is very acidic. Even if you do your pre-breakfast, you want to, who was my mushroom coffee? Okay, mushrooms is excellent. So we also have a coffee, it's not out yet, but mushrooms with this, amazing. Mushroom coffee with this, amazing. Coffee with this, amazing. What it does is all the ingredients in there are specifically for lowering inflammation, balancing blood sugar, balancing hormones, aiding in digestion. It increases gut motility. So I'm going to get your poop going with, okay? But don't worry, it's not overwhelming. It's not like it's not a diuretic. Raquel, you've had it. Cindy, you've had it. It makes your coffee taste fantastic. We have some for you to try with coffee. Okay, know your numbers. So this woman, one of my many, many clients, why am I showing her specifically to this group? Because I know you're all young, hustling. You're like, my health can wait. It's okay, it's just 5 to 10 pounds. Well, that's who she was. 15 years, she's 65 now, but 15, 20 years ago, she was like top CEO of her company, hustle, 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 no time for nothing, all about her work, didn't leave any time to take care of herself. And then you couple that with kids and responsibility, and you're like, oh, it's money and it's kids, and that's it. And you stop taking care of yourself. This is what's going to happen. Heart disease, she had high blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetic, okay? So we're big on tests, on scans. And in here, I work out of a spa in Redondo Beach, and I'll give you information on that because I'm going to invite you all to come and see me for a free scan and a consult, just to inform you of your numbers. So this woman in particular is 64 years old. Her visceral fat was at a 20. If you remember that diagram, it had the fat all around the legs from the excess estrogen that started as 5, 10 pounds. Well, that's what's going to happen. She had a visceral fat of 20. That is, now a lot of men and women have no idea what their visceral fat is. Probably one of the most important health markers. Doctors aren't testing for it. It's an easy test, $40 if you walked in anywhere to get an in-body, but you got to ask for this one. Has to have the visceral. So what does that tell me? 20. It tells me that her organs are crowded, stuffed. There is fat all around all her. So her heart is being crushed. Her liver, her kidneys are being crushed with fat. It's only a matter of time that she will have a heart attack. Literally a walking, ticking time bomb, right? Then what do I look at next? I'll go through this very quick. Percentage of body fat is 44%, so almost half her body, almost. Her muscle, see this big C shape? So with this particular scans, the in-body, it goes by C, I, and D. A C means that her weight and her body fat exceeds muscle. We don't want that. We want muscle to come out, and we want weight and body fat to come down. We did that. Okay, now are you ready? Okay, there she is. What did she do? She saved her life. She looks like $1 million in person, I kid you not. Level 5 visceral. So she saved her life. She went from 20 to 5. This is, 85% of my clients, we get them to that level. Look at her scan now. She's almost an athlete at 65. That's what that tells us. She's got 55 pounds of muscle on her tiny little 128 body with body fat percent. Body fat pounds is 26, not 44. And her percentage of body fat is 20. That's a body fat of a 22-year-old. Okay? So why am I showing this to you? Because if she can do it, then there's no reason why you can't stop in your tracks now and just know where you're at. Just be educated. Just be informed. It's just like how in your industry, you got to know your numbers. You got to know what is happening around you. This is no different. This is your body. This is the most powerful indicator of how long you are going to make money. Right? I have never made more money in my life than the fitter that I got. Okay? Because when you feel good, you look good, you command good, you are good, like everything is good, 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 right?
How long did that transformation take?
Oh gosh, look at the date. So this one is 3 of 3 scans, March 18, 2025. And the first one is June to March.
Does she know
June?
she's on the big screen right
Yeah,
now?
we get permission. Yeah, we get permission. Yes, 2 to 3 days. So everything I showed you today, those 8 tips is all they did. That's it. The greens, of course they do check-ins with me every week online, and they come in person and do a scan once a month. That's my program. It is very simple.
How do you feel about sea moss and coconut coke? They take that. I don't know if I'm just taking supplements.
You're just,
Like gut health.
so you know what those, I call those red shiny objects. They're distractions. They're distractions from,
I take that.
of course. But at least you got the mushroom coffee right. So it's, they're just, listen, don't waste your money, guys. Buy food. I'm serious. Buy food. Buy food. Screw it. Unless your doctor, so I'm a holistic nutritionist. I prescribe supplements. None of my clients need any supplements in the beginning. They are on nothing. I can make money on supplements. Nobody's allowed to do any supplements for the first 8 weeks. Why? Because we could be masking something that needs help, and it needs help on a cellular level. Food will go into my cells and heal. Pills won't. And pills won't work unless I'm healed, right? Or else, so it's really expensive pee.
What are your thoughts then about organic?
What do you mean, organic food?
Yeah, like do you only buy organic?
I try, if where'd Stefano go? He left again.
You want me to have him start mixing?
Sure, please, yeah. Ed, they won't let him mix out there, so he can bring it in here.
You can start mixing now.
Yes. You know what? Every woman and man should be on just some kind of a multi, but again, it's going to be very expensive pee if you're not eating properly. If you're not doing the veggies, the water, the walking, the workouts, the protein, your body is just going to pee it out, right? Hey.
Because I'm asking about organic because like vegetables have so many pesticides.
So if Stefano was to answer that, he'd say organic is BS. That's how he feels. He's like, it's all bullshit. Nobody.
That's what, yeah. And I have
right?
a friend who works.
So, and I'm like, no, I try to, like, now it's like.
It's all bullshit, but I mean, it's like, you can't have so much, everybody's got all these steaks at every grocery store that are,
He thinks that the supply and demand doesn't make sense.
So pick your spots, you want to do the best you can, right?
I think vegetables,
Yeah.
personally, especially for, your caring, I think you should do organic. Personally, I do.
Sure, differently.
No,
No.
I just get the organic. If it's not organic, I'll do the baking soda and the vinegar, and I'll let it for everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Especially broccoli and stuff.
Yes.
What are your, this is kind of a loaded question, what are your thoughts on the injectable?
I knew you were going to ask that. So okay, so here's another woman. So GLPs are so new, right? So we've had clients come, unfortunately, after it didn't work for them. And they went on it for a year and they tried it. So I think that if you're going to do it, make sure that you fill the gaps that you're missing, which is the education, right? Or it's going to come back. We've seen a lot of women do it and gain all their weight back, or do it and it didn't work. Those are the ones that I don't hear from, the ones that it worked for. Maybe after, when they gain it back. But I'm not against it because I think if it's a vehicle to get you in a better place, do it. Especially if it's going to give you that confidence, because I think that a lot of, when we're struggling with our weight and committing and staying on, it's the confidence in what we're doing, right? And if it's not working, if you're killing yourself, at the gym and trying to eat right and it's not working, get the education you need, right? The coaching that you need. And that's why I say, like, if you're going to do GLPs, there is no way that you can walk around and not know your macros. If you're doing GLP, then you got to say to yourself, you know what? I'm going to get educated on my macros at least as well. And then you're going to take it off and you're going to keep it off, right? I think weight loss is, like I always say, it's more painful than a broken heart, you know, so it's for a lot of people. And so I think that if there is something to support people, do I like it? Not really, because, you know, it's a drug, right? But yeah, weight it's important. It could save your life, right? So that's how I feel about that. But okay, so where's my I work out of a spa in Redondo. Our stuff is in storage, so I don't really have cards here, blah, 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 right? But if you want my information, I do have a sign-up form if you would like to sign up for a free scan with me and just like a 15, 20-minute chat. I'll just educate you on the numbers that I see. It's in Redondo Beach. It's called Beauty at the Bay. It's a really great spa. That's how I met Raquel. Yeah, it's so great. Very holistic. She's really into like really cool things there. A lot of biohacking for men and women. She does like lots of great things. But yeah, any other questions?
I'm gonna just jump in and
Go ahead.
share one thing. Thank you. Amazing.
Thank you.
Give her a round of applause.
Thank you.
We're gonna have just a couple things. I'm gonna move this to
Sure.
here.
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
So I'm gonna share a couple things. One, this is our exit survey. If you fill it out, I will send her slides to you
Yeah.
without her permission.
Go ahead. No, I usually tell people to follow me on Instagram so they get my slides, and I'll
So if
send
you
it
want
to
our
you.
slides, go ahead and scan that now.
Go ahead and scan that, and then follow me. Thank you.
Stefano is going to make this magic potion.
Yes.
So if you want to stick around and try it, you can do that. We're also going to have a rep from here for anybody who wants to tour the facility. That's an opportunity for you. And
Did I make it? Oh.
you all get this survey thing? Yes? Doesn't cost anything. I want to share one thing also, which is this. When the girls were up there talking about trying to build, if you build a good database of past clients, the right thing to do is figure out what to say to them and to talk to them and build that business relationship with them. But if you can't get to them as often as you need, this has been my solution. Client Giant sends my clients a gift once a quarter. It's not very expensive. It's really based on the season, and I send one to myself. You probably can tell us what we got because I always forget, but you don't remember either. But anyways, they're really cool gifts, not really expensive. So I use this to keep in touch with my past clients. So I just put them on an automated plan. You send the address of all your clients, and they just send something once a quarter. And then every time that drops, your phone starts blowing up with texts with thank you, and that was the coolest thing ever. So
Yeah.
just wanted to share
Can I
that.
send an email?
So I'm going to go back
Thank
to
you.
the exit survey if you want to get Susan's slides.
Okay.
That's that.
Thank you.
And I'm going to ask you
I'll
to,
message you. I'll
if you
email
like this
the
event,
list.
please share. This is on now, itswealthywednesday.com. The next event is slated for September 3rd. It's ITZ.
Hey, Ed,
Yes.
let's do a macros class.
I can bring you back. Anybody want to see her
Wanna
come
learn
back?
Macros? Yeah, let's do it.
So with that, please help yourself to Stefano's magic mixer. Oh yeah.
Thank you.
If you want a day pass
Yeah, come.
to actually use this facility, I will pass
did
those
throw
out
my whole
here.
cart. It's just spicy.
And we'll
but
wrap.
unless you
And
have,
ladies
like,
will be here for questions
sip
for a
it,
bit. You're
try
welcome.
it.
Thank you.